feeding calves here this morning. Lois usually does it here on Thursday mornings, but it's really cold out and I got done feeding early, so I came out to help her. Sorry, I got done feeding early, so I decided to help her feed the calves here. Didn't have anything else to do. But yeah. If they put too much water in, not only does it freeze in the feeder what's left, then the nipples get froze solid too. So you kind of got to thaw everything out. But yeah, I think it's about 7 or 8 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind chill, there's not terrible windy, but it feels a lot colder than that. I think they're saying feeling like negative 5 or 8 below Fahrenheit. And yeah, we have 5 bottle calves here right now, and they were all born here probably in the last 4 or 5 days. This one here that I'm feeding was just born here 2 days ago. But yeah, she's up and drinking and doing well. I think I mentioned before that we keep our calves in individual stalls here till they're about 5 days to a week old, somewhere in that range. And start out with feeding them a bottle, and then we put them on a nipple bucket, we call it. It's a single bucket that they'll, yeah, usually they go on that a day or two before they go into the groups. And yeah, those calves down there already drank, so I'm not sure why they're still bawling, but they had plenty to eat. They say cold weather takes a lot more energy to keep them warm, so we always try to add, or we always do add extra milk replacer when it's cold out. Yeah, I'll say this yet, as far as in the cold weather, all the cattle eat more when it's cold, and I guess that's how they stay warm. It burns more energy to keep them warm. So yeah, especially cattle that are out in the cold. Our freestall barn, it don't get bitter cold in there. We have alley scrapers in there, so we try to regulate the curtains on the ends. Keep it, we don't want to close it up completely, or it gets really stale in there. The air will get really stale air. But yet we don't want to let them open too much that it gets so freezing cold that the alleys freeze up either. Yeah, we try to regulate the curtains on the ends for that. And yeah, so far everything's working well up there. Biggest thing we got to watch up there is when we're milking, we have the door open at the end where the cows come in and out. If it's really, really windy and cold, especially if the wind's kind of blowing from the northeast, it'll blow right in through there. And yeah, we got to kind of watch that sometimes, but it's not, so far the wind that's been blowing has been kind of coming more from the west, so west or northwest, so it hasn't blown straight in that end, so that sure is a blessing. Yeah, I got one more calf to feed here. It's a little lineback bull calf. It's gonna go to auction today. You know, dog's in there strolling around. Yeah, the calf's following the dog. That's kind of cute. But yeah, no, he's a really nice lineback bull calf, but yeah, he'll need to go to auction today. Yeah, we have a small room here that's an insulated room that we keep all our everything in to mix some milk for the calves. I think it's maybe 8 feet by 10 feet, something like that. Yeah, we have a heater in here on the wall, an electric heater. It's on a thermostat. It's built in the wall. But yeah, so that sure is really nice. If it wasn't for that, feeding calves would be a lot more miserable. And it's right beside, right here where we keep our calves. So it's, yeah, it's all, helps a lot. Calf barn, we have a tube ventilating fan. We have holes, let me see, they punched holes in it at like 4 and 5 and 7 and 8 on a clock. Yeah, I think they're about 1-inch holes, 2 on either side. And there's a fan in the end wall. We have it all set on a control system here. It has a thermostat, but then it also has a unit here that once it gets below a certain temperature, it has a variable speed on the fan, so it'll slow way down, and we can adjust how slow you want that to go. So unless it gets down around 0, we usually let it on. We can just flip a switch and turn it off. If it gets down close to 0, we normally just turn it off. But other than that, we pretty much can close up the edge wall here. The curtain and the eaves there, we closed up like up there in the top. You might not can really see it real good, but yeah, it still keeps fresh air in here, but don't keep a draft on them. And so it gets cold. It's not much warmer in here than it is outside, but they seem to do well. Like I'd said before, we put calf coats on them here, probably till they're about a month old, 3 to 4 weeks old. And sometimes we'll in this cold weather, we don't take them off in the middle of the cold weather. If they get a little bit older, when it's this cold, we just let them on for a little longer. But it's supposed to warm up next week again in this area. I think they're talking maybe 50 by next Tuesday, 4 or 5 days from now, 5 days from now. So saying 50 and rain, so guess we'll see. Last week we got, like a week ago, out of 2 different rains, we had between 2.5 and 3 inches of rain. So it was really warm, so I'm sure glad that was all liquid. If that would have been snow, that would have been a lot of snow. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't complain. A lot of the U.S. is in a lot worse shape than we are as far as cold weather, but it's pretty cold for us. Yeah, it's like I heard a guy yesterday saying, it's not a matter of what's going to happen in this kind of, or if something's going to happen in this kind of weather. It's a matter of what's going to happen and how long it takes you. But so far it's been going well, so we'll keep hoping and praying that continues. Well, good morning everyone. We're back again. We're having another snowstorm today. The last couple winters, I think I might have mentioned this one other time, but it's been very, very mild. And last winter we didn't hardly have any snow. It's pretty much nothing that was plowable. And now this winter we've had several smaller snows. A couple weeks ago a week or two ago, they were calling for a big storm and it didn't amount to a whole lot. Now and they were first saying 1 to 3 inches, and then I think they raised it to 3 to 5 maybe, and we probably already got close to 4 inches, and it's supposed to snow most of the day yet. It's kind of fairly fine snow right now. So yeah, sure makes everything look pretty, if nothing else. Yeah, the roads are pretty much covered. It's not real cold. It's in the upper 20s Fahrenheit, maybe 28 or 29 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's supposed to get terrible cold and windy though tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow they're talking about 30-mile-an-hour winds with high temperatures in the teens, or maybe around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that might actually be worse than the snowstorm today. If we get several inches of dry, fluffy snow and then it starts blowing. So yeah, we'll see what all happens and what we get, and do what we got to do to make it work. So I need to go bed a couple pens up here this morning and get some heifers fed. Try to get a few things done ahead for this afternoon, because we'll probably have to push some snow here after lunch. My one son and his wife are leaving today. Going to be gone for several days, so they give some of the rest of us a little extra to do, but that's all part of what happens. Up the road to feed Sally, our heifers up here at our other farm. No matter what the weather's like, all the animals have to be fed everywhere. We do have hay that they have available too, and we never have really, really bad weather. We just absolutely couldn't get up here, but that would be one thing. But yeah, other than that, we take a scoop of silage up every day for them. And yesterday we cleaned out the one end of the pen. Yeah, I didn't get any video of that. We were kind of pushed for time, and yeah, we hauled 9 something else. The snow in the wintertime makes it pretty. Yeah, it can get pretty barren and brown looking around here in the wintertime. But yeah, if we get some snow like this, it's really pretty when it's done snowing. If the sun comes out the next day, it's just beautiful then. But the worst of it is for us this year, they're talking about next week is supposed to get back up to close to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 or 3 days of rain. So but I guess, yeah, if it wasn't going to rain, we'd be getting a whole bunch more snow. So yeah, the roads are pretty snow covered. They did plow them once and put a little bit of salt on the roads, but they're pretty well still covered. Some of our corn fodder that we use for bedding, what we don't have room for in our hay shed, we usually do inline wrapping. They don't put quite as much plastic on because it basically just needs to shed the water off. And if we don't do that in our area, we have a lot of moisture over the winter. It gets really black and mulchy on the outside layer, and yeah, a lot of what we use the fodder for is in our Springer pen where we have our calves being born, so we try to keep that as clean and dry as we can. Yeah, we have learned to kind of pull up and tilt your prongs forward and use the one prong. Just kind of cut the top of the bale wrap on top of the bales. You got to be careful that you don't catch a net wrap. If you do it kind of slow and take your time, yeah, you can just kind of make a nice cut on the white bale wrap and not disturb the net wrap much, and then you pick the bale up and go. And hardly even, yeah, you don't have to get out of the skid loader. Yeah, as much stuff as you can do like that, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes we take our round bale wagon and we'll get several bales of hay, like if we're over at another farm, to bring home. We'll get out and cut that with a pocket knife. But almost all the bales, whether it's hay or fodder or what it is, when they're bale wrapped, we've learned to just kind of slice it like that. And you might have a little tear in the net wrap on the top, but if you're careful, it's not much and it's not enough to make it fall apart. Springer pen's not real dirty, but it's enough here that we'll put a fresh bale in here, and it's supposed to be cold tomorrow, then we hopefully won't have to do it tomorrow. So yeah, we don't have quite as many in here as we had before, but we still have, oh, I don't know if we brought some more springers over this morning that probably aren't due for about 2 weeks. There's probably close to 20 in here again. We had a good many fresh here in the last week or so. Say a little bit there about bedding the Springer pen. I would have said this a while back in another video, but for some of you that maybe didn't see that one, yeah, sometimes we use one bale, sometimes we use two, a lot of times we use two. Yeah, the snow's really coming down. It's blowing right in my face right now. But anyhow, yeah, we'll pull in and rip the net wrap across the top and then go drive around the pen and shake it all apart, and then come back and catch the net wrap and pull it up out of the fodder or the bedding there, and yeah, then finish spreading that little bit around. So, but yep, we got that all done. It's always good to have the pen nice and fresh and clean for them.
Thought I'd come take a little tour over here. Our spring has started running. The spring starts just right up there in that field, right before the road starts, and it'll fill up this whole pond and run way down through, and it's usually so pretty. The pond isn't real big, or it's not real deep, but anyhow, we have like a little dam here, and it's just really nice to have it filled up, back up. Hey, Teddy, don't go in the water. There he goes. But what are you finding, Penny? That has to be cold water. They're gonna get their coats wet. They found a pigeon down there. Oh, yuck. There we go. She got herself a treasure. I don't know. She's heading home. She ain't sharing that thing with anybody. Our dog's got coats, and it's really cold. Teddy loves his coat, but Penny, oh, she took her pigeon. She's going. I think she's afraid Teddy will steal it from her. But anyhow, she wasn't so sure about a coat at first, but now, yeah, she doesn't mind it. It keeps them a little warmer. But yeah, all the snow and on the trees and stuff is so pretty.